I can't quite finish.
What's it jammed into my back? I'm stuck.
So am I.
Go!
Kids! Kids!
There is no denying how important The Simpsons is to me at this point. I start every video off with a clip, just each of these is just packed with references. If that's not how you feel about the show, you feel me, like that's cool, just don't come around me, alright? I'm sick of negative energy.
It's true, but he shouldn't say it.
You niggas is bad vibes, man, I'm telling you, bad vibes. The Simpsons movie is somewhere in my top 30 animated movies. It fluctuates. Some days it's as good as Ratatouille for me. Some days I look at it as fondly as I did a Goofy movie before I immortalized my thoughts on it in 480p. Sorta like Mike, but y'all clearly don't give a fuck about that.
At times like this, I guess all you can do is laugh.
I mean, honestly, I'm old enough now, right, to have seen some flaws in it, like some things that I wish they would have ended up doing differently, but point still stands, there isn't a single second of this film that I do not enjoy. Everything about it is fun, sweet, or fucking gorgeous. I remember seeing it as a kid and thinking that it was the best movie of my life, but little did I know, it was the best movie of my life so far. But one thing that has always remained constant for me, no matter how much time seems to pass, is that it's always had my favorite scene in the history of The Simpsons. No matter what I see from the classic era or the newer stuff, nothing truly makes me feel quite the same amount of emotion as I do when Marge left Homer.
Terrific to read, Lucy's.
Today's video is brought to you by Skillshare, boy!
I'm back, baby.
Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of different classes covering dozens of different creative topics, all taught by well-versed professionals. Have a specific skill you're trying to learn? Well, Skillshare is the perfect place to start. From photography and illustration to graphic design, freelancing, and more, you can find classes that will match your goals and interests. I know I have a lot of new things that I want to try, and Skillshare helps me do that. I definitely recommend Rich Armstrong's Procreate Animation Make Fun GIFs and Videos if you're into animation, and not like me, by which I mean you barely know what Procreate is.
We're a little short. Hell.
It's been a minute since y'all seen that, huh? The first 1,000 people to use the link in the description or my code will get a month free trial of Skillshare, so you can explore your creativity while I happen to put the bag up. Might as well get on your big brain shit. Just go to Skillshare.com/ToonerificTariq05221 or use the promo code ToonerificTariq0522 for a 1-month free trial. That's ToonerificTariq0522 for a 1-month free trial. What do you mean you haven't seen a Simpsons movie in years and don't even remember this scene? I gotta fucking do everything around this bitch, man. Fuck! If you don't remember the movie, here's a quick recap of how we got here. The town of Springfield gets put into a dome after Homer pushes the town's pollution over the edge. The entire town blames Homer and his family by association, and they escape to Alaska. In Alaska, the Simpsons hear that Springfield, the town that they grew up in, filled with all of the people that they love, is going to be destroyed. But Homer doesn't care. And Marge just can't believe that the man that she's loved for all of these years could possibly be so selfish, and it all results in Homer receiving this tape. A moment that I think is on par with, or even better than, some of the most analyzed scenes in the entire series.
I've always stood up for you. People point out your flaws. I always say, well, sometimes you have to stand back to appreciate a work of art.
Way back.
I really love the staging of this animation. Marge's character animation isn't stiff. She still feels alive without making any sudden movements. I love how she just like looks off into space here, almost as if she's literally looking around, searching for the answer to her own question.
Lately, what's keeping us together is my ability to overlook everything you do. And I overlook these things because
Because?
No other show is animated like this, man. It's so fucking cool. The most important thing about what really sells this scene has to be the performance from Julie Kavner as Marge. We've seen Marge angry, hurt, annoyed, but we've never really seen Marge this defeated, this drained. The vocal performance here sounds like she's cried every single tear that she could. Every single shred of hope and optimism is just gone. I remember listening to the commentary for this movie, back when I was a kid on a DVD, and hearing about what exactly went into getting Julie to do that performance. It never really seemed like the kind of thing you just nail in one take.
Julie did more takes on this video than, because somebody called me today and accusingly say, is it true that it was 100 takes? And it was so much more than 100 takes.
I think so, yeah.
And what happened was that the last time she did it, she actually did go through a snowstorm in Michigan to get to the recording studio, and I think, was, a little worn down.
And because she was so worn down that it sort of fed into the way...
There was an anger that was seeping through.
So I'm leaving with the kids to help Springfield. And we're never coming back. And to prove to myself that this is the end, I taped this over our wedding video. Goodbye, homie.
Why do birds suddenly appear?
Then, of course, there's the decision to end this sequence with Close to You by the Carpenters. That's possibly the best possible way that they could have ever sold this emotion. It really is one of those things that hits harder when you're really engulfed in the series. The Simpsons movie was a movie that went through a lot of changes, a lot of morphing and manipulating. They had a lot of things to consider when putting it together. They originally wanted the villain to be Hank Scorpio, the Hammock District plug, but casual fans didn't know who he was. That's why the villain in this movie is played by the same guy, but he's just a different design. Any Simpsons fan knows that their Schwarzenegger parody is called McBain, but it's just President Schwarzenegger here because that's who everybody knows. They wanted to make Milhouse Lisa's main love interest in the film, but casual fans weren't even aware that he had a crush on her, which I don't even really think this one matters because he still hits on her anyway in this movie.
That's for selling out your beliefs.
But I think my point is that they made a lot of changes to consider the casuals, the people with just a passing knowledge of this franchise and the characters, so that they feel welcomed and they don't feel alienated when they sit down and try to watch a movie about this franchise. And arguably, you could say that because of them doing all of that, that they ended up with the second highest grossing 2D animated film in history. Only second to a movie that has been re-released a few times, so there you go. Saying that to say, out of all of these things to leave in for fans, I always felt like this song was the perfect choice because it's a song that people that care about these characters really associate with them. We first hear it in the season 2 classic The Way We Was. Homer hears it on the radio right before he meets Marge for the first time, but it doesn't even mean anything until he finally sees a face to put to those words. That's why it ruins him when Artie Ziff sings it to Marge at prom.
Why do birds suddenly appear? Every time you're near.
Gotta get out of here.
This is the song that Homer heard in his head the very moment that he fell in love with Marge. And that's why he also hears it here when he feels like he's lost her forever.
And we wanted to use Close to You because it was their song on the show when we saw Homer and Marge meet in high school. And even though, it's a little bit of a 70s pop song and a little silly, it's something that means the world to Homer. And if it works, I think that's why.
I think that this scene is a testament to how good The Simpsons is. It's such a status quo show, but they always kind of get away with making us believe the impossible. You know nothing is gonna change. Lisa can't have friends, Homer can't stop drinking, Maggie can't talk. Nothing learned in any of these episodes is going to alter how any of these characters talk to each other next year. But what makes the show so good is how we go in knowing this, but they still manage to make us feel every single emotion that they want us to feel. There was no way that they were going to kill their main character off in the 11th episode of their second season, but they packed that episode with so much weight that I always audibly gasped during this moment. There is no way that they'll send a principal secondary character to jail for attempted murder, but every single time I watch Who Shot Mr. Burns, I still think that shit looks steep for Smithers, bro. And there is absolutely no way that Marge is going to leave Homer 400 episodes and 18 seasons deep into one of the most profitable franchises in American history. But for just that second, for just that small moment, you fucking believe it. I mean, shit. At least I do.
And on top of which, like I said, it has, unlike doing 22 minutes, and the scope of it, especially Marge leaving Homer, and then at the very end, them coming back together, and I got really touched by it, even a little choked up when Homer and Marge got back together.
Oh, good.
And it's like you don't necessarily always have that time on the TV show.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what amazed me the most in watching it, is I saw so much great funny stuff just go out, and I didn't miss it. I didn't say, I go, well, I would have liked to have seen it, but it didn't detract from the film at all. I did follow the story. It kept me interested. It held me, and the emotional part was really the anchor to the whole thing.
First things first, I popper, freaks all the honeys, dummies, playboy bunnies, those wanting money. Those the ones I like, cause they don't get Nathan but penetration. Unless it smells like sanitation. Garbage I turn like doorknobs, heart throb never, black and ugly as ever. However, I stay coochie down to the socks, rings and watch filled with rocks. And my jam knocking your Mitsubishi. Girls pee-pee when they see me, Navajos creep me and they teepee. As I lay down,
You just shot him.
Don't see my ones, don't see my guns, get it? Now tell your friends Papa hit it, then split it in two as I flow with the Junior Mafia. I don't know what the hell's stopping ya. I'm clocking ya, Versace shade watching ya. Once you grin, I'm in, game begins. First I talk about how I dress is this and that.